Hello, hello.
Hey, it's straight up no chaser.
Come
Today's
on
Tuesday,
in.
so y'all coming in the house and we got a good subject for you tonight. um Had a really good time last night. We talked about a little bit about Elijah, and leading into the night we talked about Elijah up underneath the juniper tree and his experience on the mountaintop. And we were discussing how he had two total different experiences. On the mountaintop, when he asked God to rain fire down, he had a lot of confidence, he had a lot of courage. Up underneath the juniper tree, when Jezebel gave him that text message and told him that she was going to kill him, he had a different attitude, and he had a different emotion. He was in despair, he was double-minded. He was sad. So which leads us in today, where we're gonna talk a little bit about depression and what depression is. Some of the I think we're just gonna really get into hello Sandy.
Hey,
I just think that depression, when
we're so stressed, huh?
when I first when I had an addiction and I went to a faith-based ministry called Teen Challenge, I really thought that I was there because the addiction and trying to get over and have some some victory and living a sobriety, a clean, sober life. And I found out that it wasn't just about addiction, but it was about my mind and my will and my emotions. And it was more about me becoming a whole as a person. It was just the drugs was just something on the the exterior and interior, but it was it was there, but it was just like the symptoms. It was,
well, the drugs was trying to mask the symptoms.
Yeah, exactly. And and then I kind of looked a little further in depth what was really going on, and it was God trying to make me a whole person. Kind of like what Jesus said, "Without be made whole." And I was really there just to to get over an addiction. But then I found out, as I continued to do a little work on me and continue to heal, and most of all, it was healing my spirit. And I think so many times that as Christians or just as human beings, we often want to heal the exterior, but never really realizing that it's our spirit that's really affected the most. Because I believe if you can heal your spirit, then your body will heal. So
that's good.
That's what we're talking about tonight. And one of the things we're talking about is stress. And, like in society, people, for an example, have you ever been told just to have a drink because maybe you're attending a social gathering and you're a little jittery and you're a little nervous, and someone said, man, just have a drink and relax, take that stress out. Or maybe, you've been told to have a glass of wine, after work, and, to calm your nerves because you had a stressful day. You're dealing with different personalities, so you have a glass of wine. But, unfortunately, man, there's no drink, there's no beverage that can manage that stress, and, a lot of times we don't know, and, to each his own with alcohol. But a lot of times we don't know that alcohol is a psychotropic drug, And what do I mean by psychotropic? It means it changes your moods, it alters your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, your behavior. It's a depressant, because after you come down off the high, you go back to being depressed or whatever mood that you were in, right? So that means that the more you drink, you kind of get them ZZ Hill, them down home blues, And so with that being said, but that's how kind of society deals with stress. I can remember when one of my favorite uncles died. My father knocked on my door at about 25 or 26, and he says, hey, Sonny has died, which was his brother. And he handed me a bottle Crown Royal. And of course I took it because he knew that was going to affect me. You know, I was going to be emotional about it as well as he was. And so I took me a drink, you know, to kind of calm my nerves. But, and see, this is kind of like what we've been conditioned to do, you know,
that's how we
within society,
yeah.
winding down, dealing with frustrations and expectations in our life, you know. But there isn't a beverage that can, you know, that can ease that stress. So, you know, most people think that stress, like me at one time, thinks that stress is all about what goes on in your mind. And they don't really realize that their body is also responding to the stress, right? It's one thing for it to happen with your thoughts, but it's another thing for it to happen for how your body responds to it. And so most of us don't put two and two together. See, stress takes on many different forms. And if you don't address a person's stress or your stress in your life, you know, then your body could, you know, could break down, you know. What's up, Dorian? And so, you know, and so what I'm trying to say here is we know for a fact that stress affects us physically, right, Karen? It impacts our health, right? And so our emotions accumulate and something goes wrong within our body.
Sorry.